We're live and hello, 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 and welcome to Women's Wisdom Wednesdays, where we come together every Wednesday to empower women just like you, foster connections, and thrive on our journey of surviving womanhood. I'm Casey Conrad, well-being specialist and whole life coach. And I am incredibly grateful for the opportunity to continue sharing inspirational stories and providing support to women over 40. Your engagement and support have made this journey possible, and I look forward to bringing you more empowering content. Today, we have a very special guest joining us. Her name is Kathryn Armstrong, and she has an incredible story to share. But before we introduce her, let's take a moment to address you, our amazing audience. We want to remind you to visit our website at www.survivingwomanhood.com, where you can find valuable resources, connect with like-minded women, and stay updated on our upcoming episodes, webinars, and workshops. And we encourage you to actively participate by asking questions and adding comments. And if you have a story to share, we would love to hear it. This is a safe space for us to learn and grow together. We'd also like to ask you to share your favorite episodes. You never know who out there needs to hear these inspiring stories. Now, let's meet Kathryn. Hi, Kathryn. Thank you very much for coming back and joining us again. Lovely to see you. Kathryn is an holistic coach who takes a comprehensive approach to well-being, considering both physical, mental, and spiritual health. Kathryn is a Reiki master, a sound healer, and the very first laughter yoga instructor and practitioner in the UAE. That was pretty awesome. She was always known as the laughter lady. When everybody would meet her, they would say, I know you, you're the laughter lady. That was wonderful, right?
Yeah, it was a strange feeling in a not restricted world, but in a world that's very sedate, should I say.
Exactly. Kathryn believes in the profound impact of laughter and joy on our health and well-being. And her journey doesn't stop there. She and her husband, Steve, have two beautiful daughters and two wonderful grandsons. Their adventures have taken them to multiple countries around the world, and it's been enriching for their lives to have all of these diverse experiences. So welcome, Kathryn. It's really good to have you.
I just enjoy this with you every time. It's such fun.
It is such fun. And today's going to be even more fun because people are going to learn something about laughter yoga. Most people watching probably have not, and listening have not heard of laughter yoga. And if they have, they haven't seen someone as good at it as you. Okay, so our first question, it's two parts. So as a holistic coach, you take a comprehensive approach to well-being, addressing holistically the physical, spiritual, and mental aspects of a person. Can you share how that diverse expertise in Reiki, sound healing, and laughter yoga has shaped your approach to holistic wellness? And can you please talk to our audience about laughter yoga, what it is, and how it benefits women like us over 40?
So all of these modalities all have a link they all link to each other, because there's always some sort of spiritual connection. So with Reiki, when you're doing sound healing, you can't stop doing Reiki just because you're doing sound healing. Similarly, when you're doing laughter, the sound of laughter, there's something cathartic about doing laughter yoga, or laughing with your friends, or laughing with your partner or your children or your family. It just brings some joy to the whole situation. So when somebody is feeling so low, if they can just smile, it will change the way they feel. If you're in the shower on a morning, you can smile to yourself. You don't have to smile at anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yes. Yeah, that's wonderful. And can you tell us a little bit, for those who don't know, what laughter yoga is and what are its benefits?
So basically, laughter yoga is a way of tricking your body into laughing, essentially. So there's no jokes, there's no equipment, really. You're using your own body to get the benefits of laughing when you really don't want to. So what Madame Kataria did was, he realized that telling jokes, there's only a space of time where you can tell jokes, and then the joke runs out, and then what's after that? So he came up with this concept of fake it till you make it, basically saying, if you fake the body, or you tell the body that you're laughing, even if you're not laughing, then the body responds to that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been lots of research about laughter over the years, about the productivity of children, of adults in work and education environments, where the productivity goes up because the mind is not overwhelmed, but the mind has a change of perspective about whether you're laughing or you're just faking the laughter.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the health benefits for laughter yoga?
Well, the health benefits, it's like a overall body exercise, really. It's an exercise for the body. It helps with the breathing, a bit like the breathing is yogic breathing. So if somebody's done yoga before, the breathing is exactly the same as the breathing in yoga. So, which means that you get more oxygen in your body. It expands your organs and helps with the blood flow in your body for better benefits without really physical exercise. You can do laughter yoga, and it's been proven that you go and people can do it seated, standing. You can do it as an exercise, really, where you don't need equipment. You can just walk and laugh.
Mm-hmm.
You can smile and laugh.
I love that. And I'm going to share something. I don't remember how many years ago, but so many years ago, Kathryn taught me how to be a laughter yoga facilitator. And I remember how fortunate that was, because I had the privilege of going to schools. I went to actually a health center at the Cleveland Clinic in Abu Dhabi. Once or twice a week, we would go, and we would actually, as part of the fitness courses, we would do laughter yoga courses, because one of the things that happens in laughter yoga is you can also do movement. So, for example, one of my favorites, Kathryn, is the gorilla. So you're just moving around and you're just laughing and acting like a gorilla, right?
Yeah.
And
It's a bit like the chicken.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead, show us.
The movement is there, the arms are there. And if for those people at home, if you do use your arms, move your arms up and down, you can feel your breath as you're breathing in. You know, you can feel your breath change. And it doesn't have to be like this.
Yes. But I remember at the end of those sessions, my stomach would hurt like I did 100 sit-ups.
Yeah.
You know, like it was, you could tell it's an amazing abdominal workout, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus it helps lower your blood pressure, right?
Yeah.
It's a cardio workout, even if you do it seated.
Yes.
As you said, you know, even if you're using your arms in whatever way, right? The monkey thing, it's still a cardio workout, and it's amazing. And you can do it. I remember we had lots of groups who would come in, like large numbers, even in in our space at Changeworks. When we would do our open houses, the laughter yoga groups were some of our largest.
Yeah.
We probably had 30 people in there, right?
Yeah, because the thing is, it's the connection with the breath, with the laughter, with the movement. So for those groups we had in there, when you all connect together, and we used to connect together, holding hands together, and a bit like moving into the circle and laughing into the circle, and then as you come out, you breathe out of the circle. But everybody doesn't realize that they're actually doing breath work. So moving it in, breathing in, and then out. It's because you're laughing, nobody really takes that much notice of the breath, of the movement. And what I find amazing is that the meditation at the end it's not a meditation that's silent. It's a meditation that you lay, and when you've had this physical exercise and these bouts of laughter, there's always somebody who who laughs so uncontrollably, but it's a stress booster. So somebody could be so stressed that they laugh uncontrollably, but it's a release for stress. And I've had so many people do that, where they laugh uncontrollably, and yet they said, I didn't really want to laugh.
Right.
But it's so cathartic to them that they can't, the connection with the other bodies, they can't stop themselves having a little laugh, even if it's a small laugh, and then they stop themselves laughing. The continuance of other people laughing in a group helps the other people.
And that laughter is certainly contagious.
Yes.
And I know, like, we're addressing in this podcast and with Surviving Womanhood, we're supporting women over 40. And we'll talk about the benefits for them in a moment. But I also want to let people know that we have done this for groups in schools with a few hundred school kids.
Yes.
And it's an amazing bit of stress relief for the school kids. And they have such a good time. And
Yeah.
it's funny to watch them, and tell me if you've had this same experience, Kathryn, especially with the middle school kids who are too cool
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
school, right? They're like, I'm not laughing. So, they have that, I'm not going to laugh. This is silly. I'm not going to participate. And then all of a sudden, when you have a couple hundred kids laughing around you and the teachers are laughing hysterically, these kids just lose it, right? And they just
Yeah.
burst out laughing.
Yeah.
And you can tell, like, at first they're a little annoyed with themselves, but then they just start laughing. So
I think for children, the best thing I've found is doing animals. The best thing for children is to do animals, because the movement is silly. So they don't think they should be silly. So if they
right.
do the movement and then they're doing the laughter, they lose their inhibitions to do the laughter, and then they forget. The other one for children I remember I did was driving a car and pretending you're driving this car around the room, and you had traffic lights. So then go was them driving round, and then stop, and then when you stop, then it's to do laughter. You can use any sort of movement, anything in your life, really.
I'm going to ask you in a couple of minutes to actually do a little bit of a demonstration, but I want to focus now just for a moment on the benefits for women over 40 specifically, who are in this transitional state, of their life, this place where there's either some perimenopause happening or menopause, or, that's part of it. A lot of physical changes are happening and a lot of stress comes along with that. And also just with being in this part of our lives where, there is a lot of change happens and we're not always sure which direction we should go. And so some women are not keen to do meditation. You've heard a lot of women in our kind of work, and the work we've done together, we have how many women have said, I don't know how to meditate. I can't figure it out.
Yeah,
That could
because it's
maybe
a silent
do this
thing.
instead.
Yeah, because it often people don't like silence. I mean, we know when we taught Reiki that people say, I can't do Reiki on myself. You can, but you have to just focus the moment. The problem with people with normal meditation is they think that silence is best. But really, there's lots of practitioners who say, really, for you to be silent, you're not really in the present moment. So if you're doing laughter meditation, it means that you're aware of your surroundings and you're in the present moment.
And you still get all of the same benefits of a silent meditation.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, Kathryn, so here we go. I'm going to ask you to just and let's just do that little bit, like maybe start just the brief ha ha ho ho he.
Yeah.
And then do like a 30-second show us what a 30-second laughter meditation would be like.
Oh, okay. So let's start with the hands. So if we clap with our hands, it means that you're activating all your acupressure points. So let's do that. So ha 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 ho 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 hee 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 ha 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 ho 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 hee hee hee.
Perfect.
So if we were going to do a laughter meditation, we would be beside somebody. But since we're not beside somebody and we're just by ourselves, so let's start with a little titter. So ha 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 ha. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Ah, 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 ha, 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 ha. So what happens? Everybody that's listening, they may not be near anybody. They may just be on their own. But if they join just with starting with a small little ha 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 ha, start with the ha ha ha. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Ho, 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 ho. You start like that, then it just starts to create that laughter, that laughter feeling which is joy, basically.
Right. And it lightens us, right? Even 1 minute of laughter relieves stress, brings down your blood pressure, lowers your heart rate, re-regulates your breathing.
Yeah.
And brings us back to our parasympathetic state, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is rest, digest, and repair, as opposed to fight or flight.
Yeah. Yeah. So for menopause, which women have struggled so long, that if they can just take the time and just do a little bit of laughter, just, they can go. I mean, I have a lot of my laughter videos on my Instagram, which I haven't done any for a while. But I'm going to start doing that myself, mainly for myself. And because I've been struggling so much with menopause, with brain fog, with temperature regulation, movement, and things like that I think just taking 30 seconds of your day, regardless of where it is. I mean, when I started teaching, I used to say to people, do this. When you're in the car, make yourself aware of where you are. And then when you come to the traffic lights, when you stopped at the traffic lights, so it's, it could be 30 seconds, could be a little bit longer, stop. Take a look around you. If everything's safe and you're safe in the car, start with ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ho ho ho, he he he. Just start with that for the period you're in the car at the stoplight, and then continue on your way. You haven't wasted any part of your day. You've been in the car, safe, and you're on your way to wherever you're going.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. So, Kathryn, being the first laughter yoga instructor in the UAE was quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your journey in bringing this joyful practice to the region and how it's impacted the lives of those people that you have worked with there?
So when I asked, I moved there in 2010. I actually did my first laughter course, I think 2014, and then I went on to do my teacher's practice as well. But what I used to do was I used to go around in the street and just smile at people, and I used to see what the reaction would be. And then the building I lived in, I used to go and do laughter yoga with them in the shop. I used to go because in the UAE, there's a lot of people who don't earn a lot of money, and they're in a stressful state. So I used to do that, and then the first laughter course I did was with, I think one of them was NASA. I think it was NASA I did the course with first, one of the courses. So I started doing.
I think Nasser and I were in the same class.
No, I did it with NASA. Did it with the gong lady.
Oh.
Do you know the lady who does gongs?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Because she came to Changeworks and did a sound. Do you
Yeah,
remember when she came and did a sound meditation
So,
for us?
I can't think
Starts
of her
with a
name.
Z. Her name starts with a Z.
Yes. So they did their course together. They did their course together. And then I did a few, and then I did one with you.
Sareen.
Oh yes, yeah. So I did quite a few in the UAE, and the problem was then I couldn't understand why there wasn't that many more practitioners, because it's close to India, and that's where laughter yoga started. But anyway, I did a lot of courses there, and it was, we did lots of good work with different people in different companies. At that time, though, the companies were quite reluctant to pay us, though, and it's funny that after I left, they then started having this happiness.
Ministry, yeah, the happiness ministry.
Yeah, they had this happiness ministry. So I hope they've continued the work of other people. Yeah, but it was funny because nobody really got it straight away, because I couldn't understand why they would just laugh for no reason. But I did good work there, and then the Indian Embassy asked me to go and do for the laughter yoga, the yoga day, International Yoga Day. And then I did it, then NASA did it. So I hope they've continued with somebody. So yeah. It was
we had, for a while there, we were like, there were a lot of people that were requesting us to come to do laughter yoga, and you got your picture on a couple of different magazines and in the newspaper. And so I think, actually, to be honest, I think that laughter yoga campaign that you did and we were doing at Cleveland Clinic, and that Nasser, because of, Nasser being Emirati and, a psychologist, that him presenting also, I think, helped spark that idea for the happiness ministry, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
Well,
think,
I
I
hope
think
it did.
so.
I hope it did. I mean, the we would we would never get the credit for it
That's all
because
right.
because we don't live there anymore. But
Right.
to be honest, as long as Nasser, because he's Emirati, continues with it, I have no problem with that. If everybody in the UAE is still laughing, great.
I know. It's a wonderful legacy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And we went and did a lot of work in, good companies.
Yes,
And
it was wonderful. And I think and Nasser's still doing it because he's still doing his 1 minute laughter
yeah, yeah,
almost
yes,
every single day,
yeah.
right? And posted it in his stories. So
But
he's continuing your legacy.
see there, he's in the car. He's not
Yes.
wasting any time. He's
Mm-mm.
obviously he's got his phone safely on the, on the
Yeah, on the
dashboard
deer.
or wherever.
Mhm.
But he's
Right.
saving time and brightening his day up before he gets to wherever he's going, just with
Yep.
1 minute laughter.
Exactly. And he's helping himself and helping all the
Yeah,
hundreds and thousands of people that are watching his
yeah,
videos. So, I think that's wonderful. And you can look at that as also part of your legacy.
yeah.
So that's wonderful. So
Um,
our final question. You've lived in multiple countries with Steve and raised your two beautiful daughters. Now you're enjoying time with your grandsons. How have your international experiences influenced your perspective on well-being and your holistic coaching practice? How has your living abroad influenced your feelings about your practice?
so I've lived in the Middle East. I've lived in Asia, and it's really strange because the practices that I do, Reiki, sound, laughter yoga, help me meet other people in other countries because the when I moved to Oman, I met somebody through sound and then Reiki. I did laughter yoga there. I used to do it in a shopping mall, and they just thought I was absolutely mental in there. But I used to do it in the shopping mall with a group of women, and it was just really really lovely. And then we moved to Asia, and I met uh, a laughter yoga practitioner, a sound practitioner, a Reiki. I taught Reiki there. Um, so yeah, it's been everywhere I've gone. The me holistic practices have served me well, to be honest.
Great. That's wonderful. And isn't that amazing that especially going to countries in the Middle East where a lot of our listeners might think that, those things don't exist there, but actually in my experience and it's a much bigger practice and much more accepted
Yeah,
and available than it is in some places here in the middle of the US.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think
I
that
mean,
might be a surprise to folks.
I think in the UK, there's a lot of things practiced here, but surprisingly, where I live, it's there is a lot of practice, but it's not as far and wide as Abu Dhabi was for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? I tell this to people and they just look at me in disbelief because, I think some of us where we live in the Western countries have a very skewed vision of what it's like actually in most of the Middle East, you know,
Yeah,
like, you can't judge every place by one place.
No, and I think the problem is that because I've lived in multiple places, then you get a whole different popularity of different practitioners, different from different countries, from in Asia, when we lived in Asia, the amount of nationalities there was unreal, because of where Brunei was. It was smack bang in the middle of Indonesia on one side, because it was on Borneo. So Borneo is half Malaysian, half Indonesian. So it was smack bang in the middle. So then there was the Philippines above, Indonesia to the side, Malaysia, Vietnam, Cambodia on the other side, and then consequently near Australia. So the amount of different people, and then in the Middle East, I mean, that's in smack bang in the middle of Africa.
Right. Very close, yes.
You know, and Europe and Asia, and
Yep. Yes. So I think you, from living abroad and doing these practices, not to put too fine a point on it, but I think we've gotten a more holistic view, worldview of these practices that we offer, and the modalities that we practice. So we have I think a wider perspective on what that is and what that means to people around the world.
Yeah.
Right.
I think as well, when you're living somewhere else, people are very transient and move into the country, then move out of it. Where I live in England, probably the people that live close to me, a lot of them have lived nowhere else other than where we live. I don't know whether it's the same for where you live, but
absolutely, yes, absolutely.
So a lot of people have been on holiday, but they've never lived in a place for a couple of years or 6 months or wherever. So I think that's part of the problem, that the popularity of places we've lived in are good for a holiday, not necessarily to live.
Right. Yeah, I think living in a place gives you a much broader perspective of what that place is actually like.
Yeah. There's a lot of spiritual places in Great Britain. There's a lot. They're in pockets of places. I mean, look at Glastonbury, for example, is a very, very spiritual place. And there's a lot of places in Scotland and around where I live, it's very spiritual places.
Right. Like the New Forest isn't far from you, right?
No, the New Forest is about 6 hours from where I live.
Yeah. So, but compared to where I live, that's pretty close.
Yeah. So, like for me, I live close to Northumberland. So Hadrian's Wall runs right across the part of the country. So there's a lot of spiritual, places there. And there's a lot of different places because there's a lot of old abbeys, so there's a lot of old buildings.
Nice. So before we end, I want you to think about this for a second. For self-care, your self-care, as it pertains to laughter yoga, and something you can leave with our listeners. What is something that they can do with laughter yoga that they can incorporate into their self-care routine every day?
So for me, if you're going in the shower, shower's perfect because nobody's listening because of the sound of the water. You can just have that one or a few minutes where you can laugh to yourself and nobody else is listening. Nobody.
Wonderful.
And if you don't want to do it out loud, the same thing, you can do it, but silent. So
what does that sound like?
So it's like, so your mouth and the movement in your facial expression tells your body that your body is laughing.
And so for those people who are listening and not watching, can you describe what you're doing? You're doing the hee,
Yeah.
right? The ha, ha, ho, ho, hee, hee.
Basically, silent laughter is where you're doing the movement in your face. You're doing ha, ha, ho, ho, hee, but you're saying it to yourself, but it's silent. So there's no sound comes out your body. No sound at all.
But you're still doing the breath, right?
So you breathe in, give yourself a few seconds, and then start. Ha, ha, ho, ho, hee. But it's silent.
Beautiful.
Or if you're in the car, then you can say it out loud. I mean, if you want to say it out loud, that's perfectly all right. But if you feel embarrassed about doing it, do it silently.
Perfect. So I love this. It's very simple. Ha, 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 ho, 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 he. And you can do that anywhere and as many times you can repeat it as you want, right?
Yeah.
And you'll start to notice. I think people out there, I would like them to take a second now to just go ahead and do that. Kathryn, let's just do like 3 rounds of ha, ha, ho, ho, he. And let people join us. And I want you out there, you audience, our wonderful audience, pay attention to how you feel as we go through this. Okay, ready?
I mean, we can do it with the hands as well. If you do it with your hands as well, it takes it away from what you're doing. So we'll do it.
Okay.
So,
all right, let's go. You start.
Ho,
ho, ho, ho.
He.
Ha, 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 ha.
Ho,
ho, ho, ho.
He. Ha, ha, ha.
Ha.
Ho, 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 ho. He.
Wonderful. Ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho. He.
I love it. Okay. All right. So you all, now you have a new practice to practice. And I'd love the comments on how you feel after you've done a couple rounds of that. And remember, if you're clapping, make sure all your fingertips touch because those are the acupressure points that you want to stimulate. And so I want to hear from you, and Kathryn would love to hear from you. And we're going to put Kathryn's link to Kathryn's videos in the comment section below and her contact details, because our dear Kathryn actually does laughter yoga sessions online. So it's the same as in person, but she can go through this with you. And honestly, it is an amazing practice. And it is one of the most incredible stress relieving practices that I am aware of. So let's just take a moment to appreciate Kathryn for sharing her inspiring journey with us. And your strength and your contribution are truly remarkable, Kathryn. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. And have a good chuckle.
Yes, you've taught us all something very important that we can incorporate into our everyday lives. And one of the best things about this, if you do this in public, people will look at you funny and they'll either start laughing or they're going to wonder what you're doing, and
Yeah.
they'll ask you, and then you can share with them the incredible laughter yoga practice.
Yes.
Right, Kathryn?
Do it. Do it. You won't regret it.
Exactly. So if you've been touched by Kathryn's story, we invite you to leave a comment or share your own stories, suggest future topics or guests, and actively participate with the surviving womanhood community. And please remember to mark your calendars and join us for our next Women's Wisdom Wednesdays episode on July 3rd. I can't believe it's going to be July already.
I know.
When we'll have the privilege of welcoming a returning guest, Rania Abdul Ghaffar, and she'll be sharing another inspiring story. Kathryn, again, your journey is an inspiration to us all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Casey. And
Yes.
thank you to your audience if you're watching. Please give a chuckle.
That's
It'll
right.
change your day.
Yes, do a chuckle and then put a laughing emoji in our comments.
Yeah.
So if you want to catch up on any of our Women's Wisdom Wednesday episodes, please visit our website at www.survivingwomanhood.com and click on podcasts. Together, let's face every challenge, rise above adversity, and support one another on our journey of surviving womanhood. See you next time. Thank you, Kathryn.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It has been
Bye.
wonderful, wonderful, wonderful to see you. Take care.